Welcome back to the First Time Home Buyers Program, and we're sure you've already learned a lot. The importance of your credit score and why your income matters more than you think when looking to get a home loan. But did you know that lenders also look to this factor very seriously for a lot of good reasons? We are now going to talk about ratios, specifically debt ratios and house ratios. What are ratios, you ask? Simply put, credit is whether or not you will make your payments. Income is whether or not you can make your payments. Ratios, however, is whether or not you can actually afford to make your payments. Let me tell you a little bedtime story. Once upon a time, there was a little known rule in real estate called the 2941. What's the 2941? A rule that says your mortgage payment can't be more than 29% of your gross income and your actual debts, credit cards, car payments, and other stuff like that, can't be more than 41% of your gross income. To make it more interesting, this rule tends to change a lot. In fact, it's very possible that the norm for the rule these days is more along the lines of a 3143. Lenders do vary though, and they will calculate your income differently. So always consult with a lender, or two, or three, or four. Here's how the rule works. Let's say you make a $50,000 a year at your job. A lender then divides that by 12 to get the $4,183 a month in income. The rule comes into play when the lender multiplies that figure by 31%, which roughly comes out to $1,300. Take note, just by that would be your max house payment you'd be approved for. Wait a second though, we're forgetting about the last part of the rule, the debt ratio. The lender then takes the same figure, $4,183, and multiplies it with 43%. The result is approximately $1,800. That's the amount of debt you can have per month in order to get approved. A lender will look at both ratios, how much your payment can be and how much debt you can have. Take note then, if it turns out that you qualify for that $1,300, if you do have debt of, say, $1,000 a month to pay off, a lender will take that into account and only qualify you for an $800 house payment. So it's crucial to pay close attention not just to what kind of payment you can be approved for, but just how much debt you may have. $800 is not a lot to work with when it comes to buying a house. You can get a higher paying job, of course, but we're thinking it's obviously a lot easier getting those debts paid off more than anything else. So we're pretty positive you're asking this question. What happens if you have no debt? Would you qualify for the higher amount based on the rule? $1,800? Sadly, no. And here's the reason why. That ratio determines your house payment based on how much money you make, not how much debt you have. Take note, a lender's job is to ensure you're as little of a risk as possible. Contrary to what you might think, lenders are not in the business of getting you a loan so they can make money only for you to foreclose because you can't pay anymore. They want you to stay in that house. They want you to keep making those payments. High foreclosure ratios are actually really bad news for lenders. Why? Because banks operate off of the ability to lend. They want to lend. It means big money for them to lend. If they can't lend due to high foreclosure rates, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, the VA, and the USDA will look at them and laugh. Remember, these are the companies setting the rules. If banks can't follow them, those banks are essentially out of business, period. So let's say the reverse happens. You have no debt. What happens then? Will your house payment approval go up? Nope. It simply means they're going to stop you at the 1,300 of your housing ratio. They're not going to use the debt ratio of 1,800. Lenders just want to lend so they can not  That hurts their bottom line. High foreclosure ratios are bad for lenders. Now take note, prospective home buyers, it's all negotiable. Remember, banks want to lend, but they need to make sure you keep up on those payments. Let's say you're looking at a house and the seller wants $1,400 for a mortgage payment. What do? Your home loan through the lender only qualifies you for $1,300. Well, you can either put more money down on the loan, maybe buy down your interest rate, or even negotiate a different price on the house. All those factors do play a role, but understand this. What you want and what you qualify for financially, those are two different things. The lender will do the best possible work to get those two things looking identical for you, and you can count on that. This leaves a big question mark in the game as far as what you can do. And trust us, there's a lot you can do and should do, and we'll explain that in the final segment of Module 1. We're glad you stuck with us this entire time. Finish line's so close. Don't quit, because once you cross it, Lord's all you'll feel. Thank you for joining the First Time Homebuyers program. We'll see you soon.